Okay, so good evening, everyone. So me and my team, me Devrisha and my team, we are presenting a detailed project report on waste management that has been funded by the World Government and World Bank and has been approved by the United Nations. Now, for this, I would like to introduce Anubhuti Dixit, Prachi Sinha, Samita Vagralkar, and Shikha Khandelwal, my teammates. And we have selected the topic, the solid waste management system in Kerala that has been recently approved by the World Bank with a whopping $105 million for this project. Samita, to the next slide, please. Now, having a bird's eye view of this project, I must say that we must start with that the solid waste management capacity in Kerala is currently constrained by a limited primary collection and transportation systems, low capacity of community level bio-waste treatment facilities, and lack of centralized processing and disposal facilities. Now, there was a survey that has been run by the Kerala government in 2018 that says that over 70% of the water sources in Kerala are contaminated with over half of the pollution originating from the solid waste in households, markets, and hotels. Now, recognizing this urgency for improving solid waste management services, the government of Kerala took a lot of several measures, such as statewide cleanliness mission, Harit Kerala mission, which we all know, which includes solid waste management as one of its core priorities, promoting a decentralized approach by asking local governments to improve source segregation, providing subsidies to households for managing biodegradable waste through composting or biodigestion, and engaging women self-help groups for primary collection of plastic waste. Now, keeping this in mind, the World Bank of Executive Directors approved a $105 million project to support Kerala in strengthening its solid waste management systems and services. Now, the project will directly benefit over 7.5 million people living in all the 93 ULBs across all 14 districts in Kerala. The Kerala Solid Waste Management Project, the KSWMP as the project has been called, will establish an integrated solid waste management system that includes a balanced mix of decentralized and centralized waste management interventions. It will support multiple levels of activity that are local and regional, including expansion of waste collection services, development of waste recycling and management facilities, remediation of and closure of existing dump sites, development of scientific landfills, and also sanitization of government offices, hospitals, community level waste recycling and processing facilities. Now, at the local level, this new project will support these initiatives by laying out mechanisms for ULBs to formally engage with the Kudumbashi groups. The Kudumbashi groups are the women self-help groups which provide livelihood to women as service providers of solid waste management, including collection and transportation. Now, given the ongoing COVID-19 situation, as we can see, which is all going on, the project will support the ULB systems to undertake COVID-19 waste management, cleanliness, sanitization activities, and strengthen the systems for ensuring a healthy and safety environment for the sanitization workers, including the women. Now, I will hand on to Samita, and Samita, over to you.
Yeah, talking about the technological assessment, here are some of the technologies which were found not suitable for biodegradable waste. So, looking at the two levels, first is the household level, first is pipe composting, pit composting, ring composting, and most pit composting. At city level, it is open withdraw composting and open vermicomposting. Uh, Here are some of the technologies which were in fact found suitable for potential technology in potential technology assessment. First is aerated static pile composting technology, in vessel composting including rotary drum technology, biomethanation technology, biogas to compressed biogas technology, biogas to thermophilic high solid AD technology, biogas to electricity generation technology, co-processing of biodegradable waste with septic technology. Now, technologies which were not found suitable in case of biodegradable waste were mass burn incinerators, pyrolysis or gasification, plasma or gasification. Potential technology assessment for non-biodegradable waste. Here, for the management of non-biodegradable waste, it is considered essential to upgrade the existing MCF and RRF facilities in terms of SWM rules 2016, ensure the collection of all types of non-biodegradable waste from the doorstep, segregate various components of recyclable material, non-recyclable but combustible materials at the MCF RRR and utilize them for promoting recycling industry as fuel and cement industry. Next, social feasibility.
So, talking about social feasibility, so a comprehensive strategic environmental assessment for waste management sector in Kerala was undertaken, covering all the project locations in the state. So, this assessment analyzes the sensitivities of Kerala state for the potential environmental and social impacts due to proposed development. So, based on the assessment, the project would result in benefits to the urban communities, including tribal population, and creating livelihood opportunities for the vulnerable. So, the project could have risks of land loss, loss of livelihoods of rag pickers and dry solid waste sellers, landfill sites close to the tribal groups, exclusion of vulnerable, including the women, in the planning process, the livelihood opportunities, and skill development. Hence, based on the impact on land and livelihoods, the operational policy on involuntary resettlement was triggered. Though the number of tribal contributes to only 0.3% of the urban population, the tribal communities may be following their own traditional and cultural practices, and thus the operational policy on the indigenous people was triggered. So according to the assessment, the project is expected to lead to the overall well-being of the urban population and formalize the value chain of the solid waste management, leading to improved livelihood opportunities, and the land will be required for investment of the sub-projects for the development of the solid waste management facilities in the city. The indigenous people will largely benefit from the project, but it would be important to ensure that they are included in the planning and implementation process through culturally appropriate communication and engagement tools. The key social risks which arise are the exclusion of women and the tribal communities from the planning process, poor community participation through the sub-project cycle, and the livelihood opportunities and skill developments might get reduced. So going to the next slide.
So coming to the executive summary describing the project's overall financial viability, World Bank's executive directors authorized a $105 million initiative to help Kerala improve its solid waste management and infrastructure and services. The International Bank for Reconstruction and Development (IBRD) loan has loaned worth dollar 105 million has finally matured has the final maturity of 13.5 years, including a 6-year grace period. So, considering the joint co-financing approach, all the project disbursement would be handled by World Bank according to its disbursement procedures using the World Bank's client connection system. AIIB funds would finance part of common expenditures in stipulated percentages. The disbursement methods to be used will be advance and reimbursement of World Bank and AIIB funds. Disbursement amounting to maximum 15% of the total World Bank AIIB loan value will be remitted under the advanced method at project commencement. A pooled designated account denominated in US dollars will be opened. AIIB will process requested funds to the pooled DA after World Bank receives withdrawal applications and forwards the payment request to AIIB. Disbursements will be report-based using interim financial reports. At the time of documenting expenditure through a withdrawal application, the common expenditure would be separated into World Bank IBRD share and AIIB share and processed. The details of this arrangement will be finalized through the issuance of disbursement and financial information letter DFIL by the World Bank. Next slide, please. This slide presents the detailed financial activity as of 31st March 2022. Now next slide will be continued by Prachi.
Okay, so
talking about the environmental characteristics of Kerala region. So there are three broad categories of the geographical region, namely lowland, midland, and highland. It has been observed that the waste generation rates are different for different regions. The environmental department is the nodal department for planning, promotion, coordination, and overseeing the implementation of environmental protection programs. The entire biomedical waste generated in this state is managed by the IMAGE initiative of the IMA Kerala State Branch. Talking about the regulatory framework, so Kerala SWM, the Honorable NGT, has passed an order highlighting serious deficiencies in the implementation of waste management initiatives with the Solid Waste Management Rules 2016. Since KSWMP project is funded under the Investment Project Financing IPF instrument of the World Bank, its operational policies OPs and the bank procedures are applicable for the project. The scope of the environmental assessment may include area of influence of the bank of financed activity which may span an entire sector or region. So now let's talk about the assessment of the existing waste management system. So the state needs a more coordinated approach at regional level. Policy shall be evolved to strengthen the rules of the district in the urban planning project conception in the proper manner for urban environmental services. Depending on the size of the city and resources available, there are a variety of techniques for estimating the quantity of waste generated by the community. Some of the techniques are like modeling techniques, physical sampling techniques, and direct measurement techniques. So next slide, please. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so that was all from our side. Hope you liked the presentation.